Hi, friends. I guess you're here because you're curious about what is EMDR intensive and how is it different than the weekly EMDR therapy sessions. So I'm going to start with what you might be more familiar with is the weekly therapy sessions. So if you've been through therapy, you know that you usually meet with your therapist about once a week. And that's traditionally how EMDR works too. Most of the time, people start with their initial assessment and then they learn more about resourcing, preparation for trauma work. And then they go to their weekly EMDR therapy, where they usually start with having a target memory, which usually it's like a traumatic event, and then they use bilateral stimulation through tapping, through eye movement, or through sound stimulation to process those traumatic memories. And the goals is usually if the intensity or disturbance level was a 10, the goal is to go down to a 0. Our job as therapists is to help clients when they think about these traumatic events that the disturbance level will be a 0. And usually there will also be a positive cognition. For example, like I'm worthy, I can learn who I can trust, I'm lovable. Those kind of things now attach to those memories. However, in my experiences, I realized sometimes just the traditional model of 53 minutes to 60 minutes that insurance typically reimburse is just not enough. Most of the time, client can go from an intensity of like an 8 or 10 down to a 2 or 3. And usually time's up. And then we can really finishing processing what keeps it at a 2, like what's still feel a little bit stuck or what's the residue still in the body. And then clients have to stop and then wait till the next session. And sometimes we get to do that, but sometimes other things come up that client wants to process. So it just feel like times is not enough and the therapy process can prolong. Or if clients finish processing, right, from a 10 down to a 0, great. And then they feel good about it and they have a positive cognition attached to it. Now they are ready to prepare for the future. If things comes up again, how will they approach that? How will they do this differently? Well, again, time is up. Usually only 60 minutes get to process, get clients from a 10 down to a 0, but we don't have enough time to process for the future events. And then we wait till the next session. For some clients, the weekly sessions is important to give them the ongoing support. Some people really needs that to build trust, to learn more about how to regulate their nervous system, to learn how much they can tolerate, right? So there's benefits of keeping your weekly therapy sessions. However, there's some clients that are really ready to go. They are feel like they have more capacity to process their trauma. They don't want to continue to do this like start and stop, start and stop. They want a more block time where they can just focus on trauma processing. That's where EMDR intensive comes in, where a therapist usually can spend with you a day from 3 hours to 6 hours. And if you just book that, you focus on what you want to work on through that 3 to 6 hours. Some people want to do it 2 days, 3 days, and some people even do it 5 days. So you can do that like instead of doing weekly therapy, you just carve out this time and then you book this block of time with your therapist and do some very intensive and meaningful work. You get your disturbance level down to a 0. You have positive cognition attached to it. You feel more capability, and then you're ready to prepare for the future. And now you feel like you're able to look at these traumatic experiences from a different lens. So that's the benefit and beauty of doing EMDR intensives. With me, I incorporate with a lot of the knowledge that I have with my somatic experiencing background. So I follow and study clients' body languages and nervous system very closely to see when they need to take a break, when we maybe need to approach it differently, to do more resourcing, grounding. I'm also very in tune with parts work because sometimes People might have protective mechanism that naturally comes up where they disassociate or there's certain blocks that they don't want us to process those trauma. Because I am certified in IFS, so I'm also very good at sorting those out. So I hope that explained what is the differences between weekly therapy and EMDR intensive. And please go ahead and watch the next video if you are curious more about how I use EMDR to help clients stay calm or feel calm with anxiety.